What's up, everybody? Today is quite an interesting one video about the game called The Making of Karateka, and it's the gold standard for the game's preservation. If it's only for my opinion. This title plays host to Loving Video Games Remastered, a documentary and a comprehensive interactive historical archive that details the creation of seminal work in video game history, unique in composition, meticulous and compelling in execution. There hasn't really been anything quite like The Making of Karateka before, but there certainly needs to be far more like it in the future. Karateka itself was a groundbreaking action game, a critical and commercial success developed solo in early 1980s by then college student Jordan Meckner. Meckner would go on to create additional landmark games like Prince of Persia, Prince of Persia 2, The Last Express, and Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time. Karateka was one of the first cinematic video games, one that more clearly took obvious inspiration from traditional film and animation, featuring cutscenes, in-game cutaways, and a clean editing that went against the never-ending arcade experience that dominated at that time. It pioneered techniques like rotoscoped animation to use of record live-action footage as the basis for animation work. It was one of the first instances of motion capture work for video games, and Meckner would continue to champion this technique in Prince of Persia: The Last Express. And created and curated by the game preservation-focused studio Digital Eclipse, The Making of Karateka features a blockbuster museum exhibition's worth of displays and then some, concerning and fascinating story behind the game creation and intimate and approachable format. The cultural value of the foray is immense. As someone who has nostalgia for playing Karateka on school, friends Apple II, the appeal of The Making Karateka is obvious. But its role as a historical document transcends the nostalgia, and adds a painstaking record of an important and influential moment in the video game's history, and its overall presentation sets a strong precedent in how works of caliber can and should be treated and remembered. Arranged into 5 chronological chapters with a clear narrative throughline, The Making of Karateka comprises 3 different categories of displays, strews across a slick and clear interactive timeline that places each individual piece at a point in Meckner's life. The first category consists of short documentary vignettes that feature the talking heads of those involved in Karateka development to provide first-hand insight, as well as other industry experts who provide some greater historical context. The Meckner and his father feature heavily for first-time recollection, as do figures like Doug Carlson, the former president of Broken Wood Software, who corresponded with eventually singing Meckner, and program Weta Cook, who worked on porting the games to several systems and worked closely with Meckner on other projects. Well, The Making of Karateka not only comes with different full releases of Karateka for Apple II, Commodore 64, and Atari 8-bit, all presented sharply with comprehensive technical and aesthetic simulation options, but also several of Meckner's innovative prototypes as well. A good degree of attention is also placed on playable iterations of Deadborn Meckner and released game that help establish his relationship with eventual Karateka publisher. Like the rest of the materials, each is accompanied by curatorial commentary that draws your attention to distinct points of interest, differences that help you contextualize them in history, and they are displayed both as part of the interactive timeline, as well as a separate collection for easy access. Not only that, The Making of Karateka also provides optional video playthroughs, all of the prototypes and games, which presently removes the barriers that can sometimes come with trying to play dated and unoptimized titles. The cherry on the top is that, as well as Meckner prototypes, The Making of Karateka also features brand new modern remasters for both Karateka Deadbones, developed by Digital Eclipse team themselves, and Karateka Remastered, and also Deadbones Remastered as well, which are remarkable in their own. These interpretations stay very faithful to Meckner's original work and design documents, with light but meaningful refinement in audio and visual presentation. They benefit greatly from improvements afforded by modern computing, such as smoother animation and more responsible controls. They also notably introduced some documents ideas for Meckner had in mind for the original Karateka but wasn't able to implement due to technological constraints. Karateka Remastered revives the original game with a "How You Think You Remember It" approaches as procedurally by Digital Eclipse president Meckner in optional development commentary, which itself very insightfully inclusion. With the core design and fundamentals of Karateka refreshed in its new light, Karateka Remastered paints an ever clear picture of how strong Mecha concept always was. Artful and impactful, it is considered structure, design, decisions, and mechanics still have an impact, and an action game that rewards patience and perceptions. And for fighting game enthusiasts, it also teaches great spacing habits. As for the Making of Karateka as a whole, it's everything something like it should be. A painstaking historical record of inspired creation that is engrossing in the sheer detail and arranged in such way that it tells a fascinating, approachable story that inspires you to know more and do more. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment and subscribe. Bye.